Go on trial in Chicago today. The corruption scandal linked to former Illinois House Speaker Michael Madigan.
Also, President Biden is expected to sign a new executive order on gun control today.
And why the Taste of Chicago is moving from July to after Labor Day. It is Tuesday, March 14th.
Live from Chicago's #1 news, ABC7 Eyewitness News at 7 starts streaming now.
7 a.m. Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm Terrell Brown.
And I'm Tanya Babich. Glad to be with you in for Val this morning. As we look outside, we see the sun starting to come up, that cloud cover sitting along the lake there. And Tracy, we have a sunny day in store, but a cold one.
Yeah, we sure do, especially on this side of the lake. The sun coming up and we get to see it. Over on the other side of the lake, however, there's been persistent lake effect snow. It's easing up in northwest Indiana, kind of shifting east of South Bend right now. What is not shifting away from us just yet is the cold. Look at these temperatures, 18 degrees right now in DeKalb. 15 Woodstock, 26 degrees Valparaiso, 28 Michigan City, and 23 in Kankakee. But these are the numbers you have to prepare for. Feels like it's 9 right now in Zion, 9 in McHenry, 8 in St. Charles, 15 in Whiting. So a cold day ahead despite the sunshine and highs only in the mid-30s. But it will be milder tomorrow. We'll talk about that in my next report. Roz?
We are looking at an average 35-minute travel time on most of the interior expressways, but we've got IDOT clearing a 3 to 4 car crash outbound on the Kennedy from Grand Avenue. So that's causing more of an issue coming inbound on the Dan Ryan. All kinds of problems on the Stevenson/I-55. We've got a crash inbound right around Ashland, and then we go farther south, and we've got a crash that we've been dealing with throughout the better part of the morning, northbound 55, north of Blodgett. There's about a 4-mile delay there with several vehicles involved. One of them was rolled over, so they're still trying to get everything cleared up there. And Chopper 7 is also over I-55 on the southbound side at Route 53, where crews are in the process of making emergency pavement repairs. 2 out of the 3 lanes are blocked at that location and will be throughout the day until those repairs can be made. Huge backup. Tanya and Terrell, about a 4-mile delay there.
Oh, wow. Yeah. All right, Ross, thank you. 2 past the hour, the so-called ComEd 4 go on trial in Chicago today.
They're accused in a bribery scheme to influence former Illinois House Speaker Michael Madigan, who is under indictment in a separate case. Christian Picos is live at the Dirksen Federal Building with more on what's happening today. Christian.
Tanya and Terrell, good morning. The government's opening statements in this highly anticipated federal trial could begin as soon as today once jury selection is complete, however. Now, the trial of the so-called ComEd 4 begins more than 2 years after ComEd executives were charged with bribery conspiracy, bribery, and willfully falsifying the utilities books and records. According to the indictment, ex-ComEd CEO Ann Pramaggiore, ex-ComEd lobbyist Mike McLean, retired ComEd executive John Hooker, and former City Club of Chicago president and ComEd consultant Jay Doherty tried to bribe former Illinois House Speaker Michael Madigan in favor of legislation benefiting the utility company while also striking down bills that would potentially damage the company. This happened between 2011 and 2019. All 4 defendants have pleaded not guilty. Federal officials say all 4 of those defendants are expected to be in court today, while the former House Speaker's trial isn't expected to begin until next year. He faces racketeering and bribery charges. Another ComEd executive has already pleaded guilty to bribery charges and is expected to testify on behalf of the government during the trial. Now, federal officials say if the government's opening statements do not begin today, they will begin tomorrow morning in a trial that could last up to 2 months. Tanya and Terrell, back to you.
Christian Picos live here in the Loop. Christian, thank you. The Illinois Supreme Court will hear oral arguments today in a case challenging the SAFE-T Act. The controversial law took effect on January 1st. Part of it eliminates the use of cash bail. Dozens of states' attorneys filed lawsuits, and that part of the act was ultimately put on hold when a Kankakee County judge ruled it was unconstitutional. Now the state Supreme Court justices will be taking up that ruling. Attorney General Kwame Raoul has said in the past that there's nothing in the state constitution requiring cash bail.
One of 2 people charged in the shooting of an off-duty Oak Park police officer will be sentenced today. Prosecutors say David Bush and another man tried to rob the officer back in 2015 at his home in the Roseland neighborhood. The officer fired his own gun, but was hit with several rounds by the offenders. He survived the attack. Bush was convicted in October. There is a fundraiser today for the family of fallen Chicago police officer Andres Vasquez Lasso. The Angels on Earth project will hold the event with all proceeds going to the family. It starts at 10:30 this morning at Joey's Red Hots at 115th and Western.
Students at Elmwood Park High School are planning another walkout today over school safety. The walkout comes from an incident last Monday when a teen brought a gun to school. Students say they're concerned because they were never told about it. It's the second walkout since last week's incident. The school district has stepped up police presence at the school. It says it's reviewing protocols and training.
The family of a woman stabbed to death on a CTA platform is speaking about the loss. This as new details emerge about the suspect charged in her murder. Investigators say 26-year-old Samantha Maldonado was inside Miller's Pub Saturday. She argued with her ex-boyfriend, and when Maldonado reportedly ran out of the restaurant and tried to board a train, prosecutors say Alejandro Arellano yanked her back and stabbed her several times. Police say Maldonado identified Arellano as her assailant before she died. The family says Maldonado's father rushed to Chicago from Ecuador to identify his daughter.
He wanted the absolute best for her to go for her dreams.
According to her family, Maldonado left her South American home less than a year ago in pursuit of a better life. New this morning, President Biden will sign a new order designed to reduce gun violence. It toughens background checks for those trying to buy guns, requiring more people to be screened. The order also allows a judge to take a gun away from anyone declared to be a danger to themselves or others.
Meanwhile, President Biden is telling Americans their money is safe. Of course, we're talking about the collapse of these two U.S. banks.
His administration is taking emergency action as some scramble to take out their cash. ABC's Lindsay Watts is live in Washington with more. Lindsay.
Tanya and Terrell, analysts believe the sudden collapse of these regional banks has the Fed rethinking its interest rate policy to get inflation under control.
Customers of Silicon Valley and Signature banks lining up to grab their cash.
Yeah, no, I'm going to clear it out and learn my lesson, and I'm not going to put the money all in one place like I did here, so I'm going to spread it around.
The Treasury, FDIC, and Federal Reserve have taken emergency steps to guarantee all deposits from the failed banks are paid back in full, even those over the federally insured amount of $250,000. President Biden telling Americans they can have confidence in the system.
Americans can rest assured that our banking system is safe. Your deposits are safe. Let me also assure you, we will not stop at this. We'll do whatever is needed.
But despite efforts to ease fears, people are on edge. Stocks of some other regional banks plummeted Monday, worrying those customers.
I rushed over here and I withdrew all my money, except for $1.
Experts say the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank was partially triggered by the aggressive interest rate hikes by the Federal Reserve.
Rising interest rates was one of the biggest problems that bit them two ways.
It's because the bank invested heavily in government bonds 2 years ago. And as the feds raised rates, bond prices fell and the value of Silicon Valley's investments plummeted. The Federal Reserve Board is now launching a review of the bank's supervision and regulation, promising a thorough and transparent process. The White House also pushing for tougher regulations on small banks, which Congress rolled back during the Trump administration.
I'm going to ask Congress and the banking regulators to strengthen the rules for banks to make it less likely this kind of bank failure would happen again.
In just about 20 minutes, we're going to be getting a look at the latest inflation report. It's expected to show that the inflation rate dropped to 6% last month, which is lower than January, but still high. Some economists are predicting the Fed will think twice about another big rate hike in light of these bank failures. Tanya and Terrell.
We shall see. Lindsay Watts in Washington. Lindsay, thank you. Back here at home, one of Chicago's most beloved summer festivals is moving to after Labor Day.
Jessica D'Onofrio is live in Grant Park to explain why Taste of Chicago is moving to September. Jess.
Well, Tanya and Terrell, first of all, the Taste of Chicago will stay in Grant Park, but it is no longer a midsummer event. The city announced it is moving the iconic July Food Festival to after Labor Day. It will now last 3 days from September 8th to the 10th. The Taste is usually held in July, but this year the NASCAR street race will be held at that time in Grant Park. Earlier this month, the mayor proposed moving the Taste's location to Navy Pier, but that faced a lot of backlash from some aldermen who called the idea a planning disaster. Meanwhile, some longtime Taste vendors are puzzled by all of the political back and forth.
I don't know what happened, why it decided to move the date, bring NASCAR in before Taste. It was a major mistake, but however it may be, we're going to make it work.
42nd Ward Alderman Brendan Riley releasing a statement saying, while I'm disappointed the NASCAR event is forcing Taste of Chicago to move from July to September, it is a far superior option than moving the event to space-constrained and traffic-challenged Polk Brothers Park at Navy Pier. I'm glad the administration listened to reason and made the wise choice to keep the Taste of Chicago in Grant Park where it belongs. And the city says the Taste will also hold up pop-up events in different neighborhoods leading up to the event in September. Tanya and Terrell, as long as I can get that roasted corn dipped in that butter, I'm happy. Back to you.
Gosh, that sounds so good.
As long as it's warm enough that I can get a rainbow cone, we're good. Jessica, thank you.
Oh, those are so good.
Chicago Bears safety Eddie Jackson receives the NFL's Ed Block Courage Award today. The annual award goes to a player who embodies dedication and performs as a role model to his community. Jackson works on behalf of various charities. He'll receive the award here in Chicago this afternoon.
Good for him.
Yes.
Congratulations. Live and local news just getting started this morning, streaming out loud. When we come back, 2 major weather systems are moving across the country right now, while some people received evacuation warnings overnight.
Nothing like that here at home, though, right, Tracy?
That is correct. Now, there has been some lake effect snow over in northern Indiana overnight, but even that is moving out of Lake and Porter counties, and we'll talk about it next.
Now to those 2 major storms bearing down on either side of the country right now. California is about to get hit again with flooding rains and winds up to 60 miles per hour. And in the eastern part of the country, a major late season nor'easter could dump feet of snow and cause widespread power outages. ABC's Rhiannon Alley has more.
It's exactly what they don't need. More rain in Northern California, up to 6 inches more, on top of already saturated ground. Overnight, evacuation warnings issued in Santa Cruz County.
I want to cry, but what's crying going to do, you know? It's just sad.
In Monterey County, nearly 2,000 people already evacuated when a levee failed in the last storm. Some may not be able to return for weeks. Others didn't get out in time.
My neighbor's there. He's like 80-something years old, has no water. Trying to get water to him. They won't even let us take him water.
In this community of farm workers and immigrants, many had little to begin with.
The damage to their homes and their vehicles and their businesses is going to be severe, and the pain is going to be prolonged for many weeks and months.
Farm losses already estimated at $330 million.
Crews taking advantage of dry weather by working on that levee breach, trying to stabilize it before this next atmospheric river rolls in during the day on Tuesday. More heavy rain in a very saturated state. It's going to be difficult managing the added water, to say the least.
On the other side of the country, a nor'easter taking aim this morning could dump 30 inches of snow in interior New York State and New England. New York's governor mobilizing the National Guard. The biggest worry? High winds and power outages. Some 8,000 utility workers already on standby. Coastal flooding also a concern. Rhiannon Alley, ABC News, New York.
So that's the coast. It's kind of sandwiched here in the middle. Live picture right here. Plenty of sunshine. Tracy, I mean, do we have any weather woes around here?
It's cold. Yeah. I mean, but compared to that, I'll take this. I mean, we still have wind chills this morning, some that have even dipped back into the single digits. And you can see they don't get a whole lot better through the day today. And in fact, this afternoon, those wind chills are going to be in the 20s. But here you go. South Bend on eastward is where we're finding, and south of that is where we're finding the lake effect snow showers. You had some in LaPorte and Westville, Michigan City overnight. You're not seeing any more falling there. But yeah, here's the falling rain that is once again earmarked for the West Coast out in California. The Northeast is just getting bundles of heavy snow. They have almost 100,000 customers without power there. As for us, well, we are looking at some rain coming in here, and our next chance for that most likely is going to roll in here starting Thursday afternoon. This looks like all rain. Friday morning may end as a little bit of a mix with some rain, and then Saturday's precipitation chances are just a few snow showers. Right now, it is mostly sunny. It is 21 degrees out at O'Hare, but that wind chill is 11. Highs today 30s, but I see some 50s ahead. Roz?
Right now, we're looking at average travel times about 40 minutes between the tri-state and downtown. All of our big problems have been on 55. The Stevenson this morning, we had that crash inbound near Ashland, so that's why we're seeing this big backup here. We also had a pretty bad crash northbound near Blodgett. Finally, that's been cleared, so the backup is gone, but not southbound approaching 53. That's where Chopper 7 is, actually a little bit east of there. This crash is southbound at Lamont. These vehicles were in the backup approaching Route 53, where we had all that emergency pavement repair going on. This is a terrible crash. It's involving a semi, just the cab, and two other cars that rear-ended. We actually saw them take one of the driver out of one of those vehicles and put him into an ambulance. So multi-vehicles, multi-injury crash. They temporarily have all southbound lanes blocked except for the far left and far right shoulders at Lamont Road to try and get this cleared up. There was a fuel spill. There's also a huge debris field, a lot of metal and glass there they're going to have to clean up. Fire department's on the scene, so we are looking at about a 2-mile backup approaching this, and it continues slow all the way to Route 53, Tanya and Terrell, where they're doing the emergency pavement repairs.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Wild morning out there, Russ. Thank you. 17 past the hour. The runoff election for Chicago mayor is 3 weeks from today. Last night, supporters of Brandon Johnson had a virtual rally. U.S. Representative Delia Ramirez and Stacey Davis Gates of the Chicago Teachers Union both got in on this. The rally came as the campaign for Paul Vallis released a new negative TV ad. The ad accuses Johnson of wanting to defund the police and raise taxes. Johnson responded yesterday saying that he never called for defunding the police. Vallis and Johnson will debate here on ABC7 Thursday night, 7 o'clock. You can watch it live on our digital channel 7.2 or wherever you stream. You can also watch the debate on Friday night after Eyewitness News at 10 o'clock and again on Sunday at 4 p.m. Still to stream, an Aurora Girl Scout stayed calm as she called 911 and helped to save her mother's life. How she's being honored. It's straight ahead this morning.
Eyewitness News streaming at 7 continues after a break.
The Illinois and Northwestern men's basketball teams are getting ready for the big dance.
This will be the first time the teams will play in the NCAA tournament at the same time. It's an opportunity to capitalize on all of the hard work from their seasons.
It didn't feel like we weren't as a tournament team as far as, the way we play, but just simply like, we're making history. Like, it didn't feel like that in the moment. After certain games it did, but just seeing it actually up there in the bracket, is like the moment we've been waiting for.
We all worked so hard in the summer and so hard to get to this position. We don't want to make it too complicated for ourselves just because it's March Madness. It just means more because if you lose, you actually go home.
The tournament starts with the play-in games today. Illinois plays Arkansas Thursday afternoon. Northwestern plays Boise State that evening.
I will be cheering for both until they go head-to-head. Today, the city of Aurora honors a 9-year-old girl.
Yeah, she's being lauded for her bravery in helping her mom survive a medical emergency. Aria Lehman calmly called 911 last month. Her mom lost consciousness in their home, and they were home alone.
Is she still passed out?
Yes. She's still breathing, but she's passed out.
We're just going to hang out and talk to each other until they get there to help you, and then I'll call your daddy, okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, sweetie. You are doing so good, and you are being so brave.
Thank you.
Is there any dogs at your house?
Yes. He's a very nice dog, and he never barks or bites.
It's pretty amazing.
Oh, honey.
Yeah, Aria's mother spent 16 days in the hospital, but she's at home now. Aria will be recognized at City Hall at 6 p.m.
What a smart, brave girl. My heart just bursts hearing that recording.
Yeah, I'm glad mom's doing okay too.
Yes. Well, right now we're going to join our Good Morning America viewers. I'm going to have a news update on TV in just a little bit. You'll see it here too.
And when we come back, big news for theater lovers. We'll give you a sneak peek at some of the headliners for Broadway and Chicago's new season.
Now, an update from ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Good morning. It's 7:23. I'm Tanya Babich. Jury selection begins today in the federal corruption trial of the so-called ComEd 4. The 4 are ex-ComEd CEO Ann Pramaggiore, ex-ComEd lobbyist Mike McLean, retired ComEd executive John Hooker, and former City Club of Chicago president and ComEd consultant Jay Doherty. Prosecutors say they tried to bribe former Illinois House Speaker Michael Madigan in favor of legislation benefiting the utility company. It's also alleged that Madigan struck down bills that would potentially damage ComEd. All 4 have pleaded not guilty. Let's get a check of our ABC7 AccuWeather forecast. Now here's meteorologist Tracy Butler.
And Tanya, it is a cold morning around the area this morning, although one that brings us sunshine. Now, you did have some lake effect snow showers in northern Indiana overnight, but that is shifting eastward. Right now, look at these temperatures. 17 degrees in DeKalb, 15 Woodstock, 21 at O'Hare, 25 degrees right now in Gary, but wind chills are back. St. Charles, it feels like it's 8, feels like it's 9 right now in McHenry. Bundle up kind of day out there. Highs today, mid-30s. Roz, after this.
Now's the time for a healthy start. So let's move. Let's rest and recharge. And put our health first. Let's be well. To do that, let's eat well. Breathe deep. Find joy in the little moments. And do what we love, with who we love. Together, let's live well. Advocate Aurora Health.
Welcome back to a busy morning. 45 minutes to an hour, that's the range of travel times. Kennedy is the highest, but 55 has the most issues. Had that crash southbound at Lamont. They're still working to clear it, and they've got delays in both directions. But those emergency pavement repairs heading southbound around Route 53, that is causing a big issue. Chopper 7's over it. They do have emergency crews on the scene, and they are pouring concrete now, and they're doing it rather quickly because I don't even see the rebar anymore. So now they just have to get that smoothed out and cordoned off, let it dry, and hopefully by later on today, they can reopen the road.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Live look outside right now. Got some sunshine, as promised, from Tracy. It is cold out there, though, today. Want to grab the coat. We'll bounce back from these temperatures for a day and then wait until you see what Thursday and Friday hold. That's on the way in just a bit. First, the world premieres, Broadway revivals, and Tony Award winners. The new season of Broadway in Chicago has it all. The Broadway smash hit Beetlejuice makes its Chicago debut this fall. It's a creative spin on the beloved Tim Burton film. It's scheduled for a nearly 2-week run this November at the Auditorium Theater. Other big names on the lineup include Tony Award winner Company, the revival of The Wiz, and Boop, the Betty Boop musical, which is making its world premiere here in Chicago. Got all the details, plus how you can get a season membership on our website, ABC7chicago.com.
Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice.
A lot of good ones.
Wonder what songs they'll have there. Coming up this morning, there's a schedule change for Taste of Chicago. It is moving to September.
Yeah, plus the corruption trial with ties to indicted former Illinois House Speaker Mike Madigan. It's beginning today. We'll get you an update on the day's top stories in 90 seconds.
You're watching ABC7 Eyewitness News at 7, streaming live now.
Just about 7:30 on a Tuesday. Top stories that we're watching for you this morning. Jury selection is scheduled to begin today in the corruption case of 4 ComEd officials. They are accused of scheming to bribe indicted former Illinois House Speaker Mike Madigan. If the jury is seated today, the government could begin its opening statements later on today.
The Illinois Supreme Court will begin to hear oral arguments this morning in a challenge to the Safety Act. The controversial law took effect January 1st. Part of it eliminates the use of cash bail. State Attorney General Kwame Raoul said in the past there is nothing in the state constitution requiring cash bail.
Taste of Chicago will still be in Grant Park, but it's moving from July until after Labor Day. The summer tradition will now last 3 days from September 8th to the 10th. It's because of a scheduling conflict involving the NASCAR street race that's coming to Chicago. First time. First for the city, too, in July.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody, and welcome back. I'm Tanya Babich.
And good to be with you. I'm Terrell Brown. Let's go outside, and there it is, that pretty sunshine. Plenty of it today, Tracy. It's just not going to warm us up a ton.
Oh, no, not at all. And in fact, some of our temperatures have even dropped a little bit more this morning, but that sun is out and about. The lake effect snow that you had places like Valparaiso, Ogden Dunes overnight, shifting off to the east from South Bend on eastward, but clear skies allowed for those temperatures to really plummet overnight 22 right now in Morris, 23 degrees Kankakee. You get a 17-degree reading right now in Waukegan. It is currently 18 in Sycamore, 20 right now in Frankfort, 21 in Oak Park, 23 in Crown Point, 22 degrees in Munster. And look at some of these wind chills back in the single digits. We'll have your complete forecast coming up. But Roz, despite no really major weather issues, you really have been busy.
You know, you don't have to have bad weather out there to have bad traffic. It's just been a very busy morning on the roads. Now your travel times are anywhere from 50 minutes to an hour 5. We've had a lot of issues on I-55, and we're still struggling here. On the southbound side, crews are still working to clean up this crash at Lamont Road, so the delays begin well before Cass. And then they continue on down to Route 53 on southbound 55, where they're making those emergency pavement repairs. So only one lane is open at this location. So we're really looking at about a 5-mile total backup at that location. We also are getting word of a crash off the expressways in north suburban Antioch. It's on Route 173 at Deep Lake Road. Emergency crews just arrived on the scene. Tanya and Terrell.
All right, Ross, thank you. Talk to you again soon. We're going to start with the Oscars, and the award show TV audience grew for the second consecutive year, scored the highest rating for the show since 2020. Pulled in 18.7 million people. This is according to Nielsen.
Impressive. Now Magazine watching the Oscars and hearing your name. Now Imagine, rather, watching the Oscars and hearing your name in an acceptance speech. So this happened to 2 public school teachers. Daniel Scheinert gave a heartwarming shout out to his teachers back in his hometown.
And when he said his name, my name, I almost fell on the floor. That he did that on national television, because all of them went to school somewhere when they were little. And it's just wonderful that he mentioned public school teachers.
I can't explain that. It's just amazing that he remembered what we did.
Know what I did for him that was different than any other child I've taught. But I was so pleased with him, the fact that he did mention public school teachers, that I would just give him a big hug.
And an A. Both teachers say they plan to continue to support Scheinert. They hope one day to be able to thank him personally for their honorable Oscar mentions. So, question for you all here. Is there an educator who has inspired you?
Mr. Schwager, Paul Schwager.
Still remember him, huh?
Never forget him.
Yeah.
Absolutely never forget him.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah, he was just so encouraging in my pursuit of what it was that I wanted to do in life. He sadly since passed away, but he was instrumental in our yearbook. We during his tutelage, we had the #1 yearbook in the country.
Oh, wow. In the country.
Cool. We won so many awards, and it was all because of him.
Awesome. Yeah. It's funny how you remember.
Oh, never forget him.
You never forget things like that.
Yeah.
3rd grade teacher, Miss Kane, who got married and became Mrs. Katz. And she made me feel included because I was the only Jewish kid in that class.
Oh, wow.
And kids made fun of me because I believed in Santa Claus, even though I was Jewish. And she made it all okay. I also have a very dear friend, Diane, who is recently retired as an educator. And she is such an inspirational person. She worked with a lot of special needs children. Wow. She worked with kids, English was their second language. And to listen to her talk and the things that she did is so incredibly inspiring.
Very cool.
Go ahead, if you've got one.
Brian Earl. He was the professor of the only communications class I took in college. I took one.
Oh, wow.
I was an international relations, American foreign policy major, and I took one communications class, and he led me to believe that maybe I had some talent.
There you go, and look at you now.
Yep. Hi. His son is a professor now. He's still around. He's retired.
Nice.
But Mr. Earl's son, who's my age, is now a professor at Cornell.
That's so awesome. And then for me, quickly, Stacey Bradshaw. And I just went up to her with this crazy idea when I was a freshman in high school and said, hey, I want to start a TV production and a live show. And she was like, I'm all for it.
Wasn't that the teacher that I reached out to?
That was the teacher, yeah.
Years back?
And that program is still going on today.
Wow.
So it's
Because
really
of you.
cool.
Because of Terrell.
No. But no, I love the people in the right place in the right time in all of our lives.
Yeah.
that have helped us to get to where we are now, and hopefully there are more people in the years to come to help me get to the next level, whatever that is. So next up, new technology that's fueling special effects in movies.
ABC's Will Gans checked out what goes into what goes into creating movie magic.
This year's Oscar nominees are flying high with breathtaking, finger fluidifying, explosive special effects. But it turns out that movie magic isn't magic at all.
If we wanted to bring the sun back, we could bring the sun back.
Here it comes. Here it comes.
It's a whole lot of hard work.
You guys have made a career out of making that magic happen.
And it has ruined films for us. Because now...
And it's serious business. Variety reports that Avatar: The Way of Water cost $350 million to make. And James Cameron said it would need to be one of the 3 or 4 top-grossing movies in history just to break even. Those avatars in Pandora, brought to life in part with the help of motion capture technology.
We have actors working in a volume with markers on their body, facial head rigs on their head, and we capture 100% of their performance in the digital world.
The experts at Zero Space, a studio specializing in visual effects, breaking it all down.
These virtual characters have skeletons in the same way that we have a skeleton going on underneath. When you see the hands and joints moving, really what we're doing is we're making that connection between our skeleton and theirs.
That skeleton mapped out by these so-called ping pong balls, specifically placed in key areas on the body, so the dozens of cameras around the space can pick up movement in real time.
Like a Christmas tree.
The actors are then placed in a virtual environment with a virtual body.
That's all that matters. As long as I have abs in post, I'll be happy.
It's the result.
It's the result that matters.
The results undeniable.
What is this? Don't know what it... What is this?
Gone are the days of your grandma's green screen. Check out the XR LED wall. It's a favorite of filmmakers like The Mandalorian's Jon Favreau.
For actors to walk in to a saloon or, Mars or wherever they happen to be, instead of being on a green screen, you get more immersion. It really helps you get back into the characters a little more.
Right now, the tech is expensive to use, but the box office numbers back it up. Hollywood is betting on strong visual effects to boost revenue, and it's working. The top 5 all-time box office earners are special effects superstars. Both Avatar films, Avengers Endgame, Titanic, and Star Wars.
Can I fab you?
Absolutely, you can run through that.
Oh, goodness.
To creating the movie magic.
Cheers.
That was cool.
Incredible.
Wow. I do still like, if there's a movie in the south of France or something, I do like a movie that's actually shot in the south of France.
South of France.
Right? I mean, I just don't think there's anything that can replace
the architecture.
The architecture, the beauty of a setting.
Cinematography.
Right.
The natural setting.
Yes, yeah. But I mean, cool. I mean, this AI stuff is taking us to places in our imaginations, to places that I never thought possible.
Do you think it'll take us to the unemployment office?
I sure hope not.
Because that's the next subject of conversation here.
Yeah, you've probably heard of Chat GPT, the artificial intelligence. I have not heard of that, by the way. Or AI that could steal a lot of writers' jobs.
Well, you're going to put on earmuffs in a second because you're not going to want to hear about it. So there's one AI, artificial intelligence technology that is threatening to steal some people's jobs called Radio GPT, uses the same tech that Chat GPT does. A software company in Ohio just released it. The AI voices sound almost human, but not quite.
Yeah, and it is designed to do everything, actually. Play songs, take calls, do interviews, tell you about the news, even local news and traffic, and in rare cases, even try to be funny. They launched a demo site where you can check it out if you want. The general feel is that it seems like something other robots might enjoy listening to. So would you, as the listener, still enjoy listening to it, to a robot?
We hope not.
Emotionless robots not humans, giving you your news every day, even though I feel like that sometimes doing the news here.
No, I mean, these guys that are right on the other side of the wall, ESPN, I want to hear their personalities. I want to hear them.
That's the key.
I listen to them
Right.
all day long. I want to hear that, and I want the local aspect of that. So, yeah.
You won't be able to give me a grocery store hug if it's artificial intelligence, because you won't see those people, you know, the anchors out in the wild.
Yeah. I hope we're not heading in that direction, but we'll see.
I don't know. I just don't.
It's too
I certainly hope not.
Yeah.
And don't think so.
We're streaming out loud this morning. Keep watching. Right.
Feeling all the feels.
Yeah. All right, we're back in 90 seconds.
Well, hello there. Happy Tuesday, March the 14th here. 23 degrees right now in Joliet, 26 degrees Valparaiso, 17 right now Waukegan. We'll go around a bit. 21 Little Village, 18 Hoffman Estates. Look at this. 16 Algonquin, 15 right now in Huntley, 17 right now in Elburn, Glen Ellen at 20, Westmont at 22, Romeoville and Joliet at 23, Gary at 25 degrees. And some of these wind chills, mighty cold out there still in the single digits. Bright skies ahead of us today. Not much in the warmth department, however, with highs only in the mid-30s. Tomorrow, we'll see some sun to start the day. Look at the temperature increase tomorrow as we will see our highs up around 50 degrees. 50 here on Thursday as well, but rain is going to increase through the afternoon here on Thursday. And then it may actually end as a bit of a rain snow mix here Friday. Friday looks as though it could potentially be rather windy as well. The weekend, it is still looking mighty cold. Roz?
Now we've got a metro delay. This is on Milwaukee West. It's an outbound train 2203. It is stopped at Roselle because of emergency track repairs. We'll let you know when it's on the move. Not much moving on the expressways. 55 minutes to an hour 20. That's going to be the range of your inbound travel times, and in some cases outbound. We still have big delays southbound on I-55. Crash cleanup at Lamont Road, and it continues down to Route 53 where they've got 2 out of the 3 lanes blocked with those emergency bridge repairs. So the pavement repairs ongoing. It's going to be like that throughout the day. Long delays in both directions because now we've got a northbound Gapers delay. We've got a couple suburban crashes, one in Norwich. This is a busy area, River Road and Lawrence. And we've got one in Wheaton at the intersection of Roosevelt Road and West Street. And both of those streets, particularly Roosevelt, are showing backups in that area. Tanya and Terrell.
Thank you, Roz. The Federal Trade Commission says Americans lost almost $9 billion to scam artists last year.
ABC's Melissa Adon has some steps that you can take to protect your money.
Regulators are always on watch for the most popular scams happening now. Earlier this year, the National Consumers League put out its report on the top 10 scams.
Some of the most popular scams are things like internet merchandise scams. This is where scammers will put up merchandise like luxury goods or electronics or fashion or medications at deeply discounted prices and try to get you to click through and provide them with information or send them money.
Another popular scam is the so-called impersonation scam.
These are scams where the fraudster will reach out to you, claim to be with a government agency, the police, or maybe they claim to be a doctor or a lawyer who's representing a family member who's in trouble.
And one of the fastest growing scams involves cryptocurrency.
Seems every day you have people who are trying to get you to send money to these bogus online cryptocurrency exchanges with promises of huge risk-free returns. But it turns out all you're doing is sending your money to a scammer and you never get your money back.
Fraudsters like to take advantage of holidays to scam people and also try to exploit bad news like natural disasters.
We very quickly see scammers who do things like charity scams or maybe claim to be someone who lost a lot of money in one of these disasters, but they need your help to get it back and you'll get a cut of it.
Experts say that we are all vulnerable to fraud.
None of us, no matter how smart we think we are without risk when it comes to falling victim to these scams.
Melissa Adon, ABC News, Los Angeles.
It's scary to hear that stuff.
Is.
You know, you do the best that you can, and I think I'm smart about it.
Right. But you never know.
But you never know.
That's what we're here for. All right, we'll take a quick break. We're back after this.
Now to a cute story about one of the youngest influencers out there. She is a powerhouse in the candle industry.
And everyone wants her stamp of approval, but she doesn't give it out lightly. Jeannie Mose has more.
Careful, it's that. She doesn't burn the candle at both ends, she sniffs it. Yucky, okay. She is to scented candles what Mikey was to cereal.
He likes it. Hey, Mikey.
Move over, Mikey.
Why?
And this is Sunday.
Sunday is a 2-year-old Texas toddler who became famous on TikTok for her candle reviews. Her first was a nail biter.
No.
You don't like that one?
No.
Now candle companies push to have their products reviewed by Sunday. Good, all right. Thumbs up or thumbs down?
No, not that.
Even high-end designers aren't safe, says Sunday's mom.
She's really hard on Tom Ford.
Tom Ford got that dismissive head shake.
No.
Her 2-year-old vocabulary can shave a candle down to size.
No yuckies.
No yuckies.
No more that.
This is a kid with tastes ranging from seaweed to sardines.
I've never seen a 2-year-old have the palate that this child has.
Jimmy Kimmel had her on.
This is the most powerful baby in the candle industry.
To rate Courtney Cox's candle line, 3 got the sniff of approval, but 1...
No.
Sorry, Courtney.
Now Sunday hates to be parted.
No.
From her Jimmy Kimmel jacket...
It's time to take the jacket off.
No.
Sunday's favorite smell isn't candles, it's coffee.
Does that smell good? More of that?
Some candles leave her conflicted.
No. You don't like that one? Yes. You do like that one? Well, which is it?
This 2-year-old influencer now has someone repping her and is branching out into food, for instance, cookies and drinks. She even raided LA's airport on a recent trip.
Do you like LAX?
No.
But when it comes to candles, she knows how to wax lyrical.
No. No. No, no.
Shinimos, New York.
Good.
Oh my goodness.
Gosh.
That's adorable. And she probably has a really solid career for herself.
I think so, already at 2 years old. Yeah.
And especially with the coffee thing. That's actually a thing.
You go, girl. All right, quick break. We're back after this.
Eyewitness News streaming at 7 continues after a break.
Welcome back, everybody. Look at the calendar. It is National Pie Day, the third month of the year, the 14th day of that month. 314 relates to the mathematical constant 3.14, represented by the Greek letter pi. It is the ratio of a circle's circumference to its diameter.
Very nice. And a toddler's reaction to seeing clearly for the first time.
Check out 16-month-old Keaton at the Texas Eye Institute. His mom says he couldn't see more than a foot in front of his face until he was fitted with these prescription glasses. Watch very closely now as Keaton sees through them, sees that something is different, and then he looks up and he sees his mama clearly.
Look at that. It's like, oh my God.
Wide-eyed, bright-eyed. What an amazing thing to see clearly.
What a moment.
Wow.
So cute.
Oh, it's just darling. So special.
Well, that's going to do it for us on this Tuesday. For Tracy and Roz, I'm Terrell Brown.
And I'm Tanya Babbage. Thanks so much for watching Eyewitness News at 7 o'clock. I'm going to have a news update for you in just a little minute here. And there will be weather and traffic checks as well. We'll hear from Tracy and Roz momentarily. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you again tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock.